This is San Pedro Park in San Antonio. If you haven't been to San Antonio, it feels very old. Like, look at the stonework here, It's one of the oldest settlements, European colonial settlements in America. So you just stumble into things like the architecture we just saw and this. Check out this cistern in the middle of the park. And it looks basically ancient. I think it probably is, and I'm sure this was an important water source for the indigenous population long before the Spaniards and then the Americans came. And I just stumbled across this because I was crossing to the park. It's a park I've been to many times, too. And I was like, oh, I never noticed this. And look how amazing it is. The park was probably a real important location in pre-colonial times. It's kind of at a crossroads. It's not surprising that downtown San Antonio, the very center of the city, is not far from here. And as such, we can safely assume that ceremonies were held here. I'm going to dovetail now to the main purpose of the video, because it wasn't just this that I saw on that day in the park. It was also what gives this video its odd title, a random Meso-American, Native American ceremony. And this was not being done as part of like a festival. You'll see that kind of thing, right? There's some kind of public event and performers will come out and do this. No, these people are here doing this on their own. Well, let's do some sights and sounds. The woman there in the center in white was in charge, I guess you'd say. She was the curandera, priestess, I don't know what the right term is. And she was amazing, actually. Wanted to talk to her, wanted to talk to all of these people, but this thing went on a really long time, and I hung in there, but finally had to go. Stumbling over this really threw my schedule for the day out of whack. And I hope you can see by that last clip why I stayed. I love the sound. The whole thing was fascinating. The sermons, if you want to call them that, were really riveting. Might not get the quotation exactly right, but she, the main speaker, talked about being guerreros de la luz, warriors of the light. Pretty awesome. And remember that it's taking place in this park where presumably ceremonies like this took place ages ago. The singing and speeches were in Spanish, though, whereas originally they, of course, wouldn't have been, which was great because that way I was able to understand. But that's also an indication of the kind of colonial melding of, Catholic and native beliefs that took place throughout Central and South America, and the Caribbean, I should say. And you could see that in some of the prayers that were offered, some of the iconography. Not in this image here, but it's scrolling up. So there's the altar, as it were. It's kind of an original painting, and then you can see the offering of fruit. This is from far away, but check out the costume there. You thought dressing up for church as a kid was a lot of trouble. Just a really interesting find. Stumbled over it. Like I said, didn't talk to them. I think they'd be okay with me posting this because they certainly saw I was taking a lot of pictures and video, and they were doing it in a public place. I think it was clear I was watching and listening respectfully as well. Very neat, and I hope to come across them again next time I'm in town. Thanks.